Good evening, students. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today is the second session of this chapter, Atoms and Molecules. Already one session of this chapter was posted. There we have discussed the laws of conservation of mass, laws of chemical combination, what are atoms, what are molecules, some numericals I guess, and symbols of some elements. We have already discussed some topics, and today we'll continue from there. Okay. So in this session we will discuss some rest of the topic. That is, the first topic of today will be atomic mass and relative atomic mass. Atomic mass and relative atomic mass. Now, concerning about atomic mass, what is atomic mass? It is just the mass of one atom. Atomic mass is the mass of one atom. Clear? According to Dalton's, actually, each element has a characteristic atomic mass. According to Dalton, each element has a characteristic atomic mass. That means each atom has a characteristic mass, which is known as atomic mass. Clear? But according to him, to determine the mass of an individual atom, it is a very difficult task due to the small size of atom. According to Dalton, to determine the mass of an individual atom was a very difficult, because atoms are very small in size, or due to the small size of the atom. From there, the concept relative atomic mass arises. From there, the concept relative atomic mass arises, because to determine the mass of an atom is very difficult, because due to the small size of atom, therefore we cannot individually calculate, or we cannot individually specify of mass of one atom. Clear? That's why the relative atomic mass concept was given by Dalton. Clear? So what is relative atomic mass? Now, relative atomic mass is defined as the number of times a given atom is heavier than 1/12th mass of one atom of carbon atom. I am repeating again, listen very carefully. Relative atomic mass is defined as the number of times of a given atom is heavier than 1/12th mass of one carbon atom. Clear? Relative atomic mass means, the term relative means here atomic mass is calculated with respect to of one atom. Here atomic mass is calculated with respect to one element or one atom. Clear? Always remember, relative atomic mass always calculated with respect to carbon atom. Relative atomic mass always calculated with respect to carbon atom, that is C12. With respect to carbon atom, or with respect to C12 atom, we will calculate all the atomic masses of different elements. For example, some hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, calcium, all the atomic masses are calculated with respect to of this carbon 12 atom. Clear? Because if we want to calculate the atomic mass of individual element without considering carbon 12 element, we cannot calculate, because they are very small in size. Atoms are very small in size. That's why relative atomic mass concept was given by Dalton, and he says that the number of times a given atom is heavier than 1/12th mass of one atom of carbon atom, or it is the average mass of the atom as compared to the 1/12th of mass of one carbon atom. That is your relative atomic mass. This concept was given by Dalton. Actually, it is the atomic mass compared to the one carbon 12 atom. It is the atomic mass compared to the one atom of carbon 12 atom. Clear? So here comes the definition of relative atomic mass. It is defined as the number of times a given atom is heavier than 1/12th of mass of one atom of carbon 12, or you can write C12 also. This is the definition of relative atomic mass. That is, it is defined as the number of times a given atom is heavier than 1/12th mass of one atom of carbon 12. It is the definition of relative atomic mass. Clear? Next, so atomic mass and relative atomic mass, this concept is clear. Next, atomic mass unit. Next concept is atomic mass unit. Atomic mass or unit, or sometimes it is represented as AMU, atomic mass unit. What is atomic mass unit? Now it is defined as the mass unit, or it is defined as the mass unit equal to exactly 1/12th of the mass of one carbon atom. That means in case of relative atomic mass, the standard atom was taken C12 atom. So atomic mass unit says that it is defined as the mass unit equal to exactly 1/12th of the mass of one carbon atom, of one carbon 12 atom. That is, the mass of one C12 atom will be exactly equal to the atomic mass unit. That means it is the mass unit that is equal to exactly 1/12th of the mass of one carbon atom. 1/12th mass of one carbon atom. That is your atomic mass unit, or it is represented as AMU. Clear? So this definition will be like this. It is defined as the mass, it is defined as the mass unit equal to exactly 1/12th of the mass of 1/12th of the mass of one atom of C12 isotope. Clear? So this is the definition of atomic mass unit, or AMU. It is defined as the mass unit equal to exactly 1/12th of the mass of one atom of C12 isotope. This is atomic mass unit, is represented as AMU, or nowadays it is represented as U also. It is represented as U also. Clear? That means you can represent atomic mass unit as AMU or simply U. Clear? Next. So this is all about atomic mass unit. Now there are various atoms. We have came across, or we will study that various atoms, they have different their atomic mass. Clear? For example, suppose here it is element, and suppose this is atomic mass. Clear? That is U. So for example, we will remember some element and their atomic mass. For example, suppose hydrogen, its atomic mass is 1e. Clear? For example, suppose carbon, carbon is represented as C, so its atomic mass is 12. Next, for example, suppose nitrogen is represented by N, its atomic mass is 40. Next, suppose oxygen, its atomic mass is 16. Next, suppose sodium, that is Na, its atomic mass is 23. Next, magnesium, that is Mg, its atomic mass is 24. Clear? Next, suppose sulfur, its atomic mass is 32. Next, chlorine, its atomic mass is 35.5. Clear? Next, suppose calcium, its atomic mass is 40. Like this. Clear? So in your textbook, more elements are given and atomic masses are given there. So study your book carefully. These are some common elements and their atomic masses. We will remember each of these elements. Clear? Because these things will require when you will calculate the formula of each element. In the next session I will discuss how to calculate formula of simple compounds. Clear? there you will require these element and their atomic masses. Clear? And also one more topic given in this chapter, that is valency concept. So valency concept, there also this atomic mass will be required. Clear? So these are the some common elements. You need to remember all these elements and their atomic masses. Clear? Next. Next one, so atomic mass. Next one is concept of molecules. We will directly come into molecules. So these are enough. These elements are enough for practice. So next come to molecules. Now what are molecules? Molecules actually is the smallest particle of an element. Molecules actually is the smallest particle of an element or compound which is capable of independent existence. Now what is the difference between atoms and molecules? Atoms, they don't have independent existence. Atoms do not have their independent existence and they are very small. But when come to molecules, they have their independent existence. This is the main difference between atoms and molecules. Clear? And moreover, it is the smallest particle of an element or compound which is capable of independent existence, and it shows all the properties of a substance, and it is called molecule. So number one concept of molecule is that it is the smallest particle of an element or compound. So it is the smallest particle of an element or a compound. This is the first statement we get to know about molecules. Number two statement will be that it is capable of independent existence, or molecules can exist independently. So it is capable of independent existence. It is capable of independent existence. Independent existence. Clear? Number two. Number three is that the molecule shows all the property of substance. It shows all the properties of the substance. That means it is the smallest particle of an element or compound. So it shows all the properties of that element or that of the substance. So number three will be, it shows all the properties of the substance. Clear? So three things we get to know about molecules is that smallest particle of an element or compound, it is capable of independent existence, and number three, it shows all the properties of the substance. Clear? So now molecules can be divided into two categories. Now these molecules can be divided into two categories. So molecules, this can be categorized as into following two categories. One is molecules of elements and number two is molecules of compounds. One is molecules of elements and number two is molecules of compounds. Clear? Now first we'll discuss about molecules of elements. So now molecules of an element contain same type of atoms. Molecules of elements contain same type of atoms. That is, molecules of many elements are made up of only one atom only. First thing we should know that molecules of element contain same type of atoms, and secondly, molecules of many elements are there that are made up of only one atom. Clear? So first one, it is made up of molecules of elements that are made up of only same type of atoms. So we will write it is an element contain same type of atoms. So just write only here contain same type of atoms. Contain same type of atoms. Clear? And also molecules of element, there are some elements where only they are made up of only one atom. For example, like argon. For example, there are elements like argon. For example, like helium or neon. Clear? Or suppose helium, neon, argon. These are the noble gases actually. All these are noble gases. These noble gases actually made up of only one atom. Clear? And also there are some non-metals also. They are made up of more than one atom. These are the noble gases. They are made up of only one atom. Clear? And some more non-metals are there. They are made up of more than one atom. More than one atom means, suppose oxygen. So there are two atoms, two oxygen atoms. Suppose the hydrogen, there are two hydrogen atoms. Clear? Suppose ozone, O3, there are three oxygen atoms. Clear? So all these are actually the elements, but difference is that this is the, here two atoms is present, here also two atoms is present, here three atoms are present. Clear? And these are the only one atom is present. Only one atom is present, but here two atoms are present, here three atoms are present. But all this comes under the molecules of elements, because molecules of elements means contain same type of atoms. Clearly see, here two atoms are oxygen, that means same type of atoms. Three atoms are oxygen, that means same type of atoms. Also in hydrogen there are two hydrogen atoms, that means same type of atoms. Clear? So molecules of elements can be categorized as into three types, or more precisely five types, mainly three types, but if you study elaborately, there are five types of molecules of elements, but mainly of three types. Clear? So let us study elaborately. So molecules of elements, first comes under molecules of elements, that is monoatomic molecules. Monoatomic means only one atom is present. For example, noble gases like helium, neon, argon, many more there, xenon, krypton, and Fe, suppose aluminium. Clear? These are the noble gases, that means helium, neon, argon, xenon and krypton. All these five are noble gases, and these are metals, Fe and aluminium. So these are monoatomic, that means it contains only one atom. Next one, diatomic. Next one is the diatomic. So diatomic is, there are two types, two atoms are present. Two atoms means, suppose hydrogen, two atoms are present. Oxygen, two atoms are present. Suppose N2, two atoms are present. Iodine, I2, two atoms are present. Suppose Cl2, two atoms are present. HCl, hydrogen chloride, because one atom is hydrogen, one atom is chlorine, so total two atoms. HCl, for example NaCl, sodium chloride, one atom is sodium and one atom is chlorine, so all total two atoms. So these are diatomic molecules. So this is the second type. Third type is the triatomic. That means three atoms are present. For example, O3, ozone, three atoms are present. Carbon dioxide, one carbon and two oxygen, that means total three atoms are present. Nitrogen dioxide, NO2, one nitrogen, two oxygen, total three atoms are present. So basically there are three types under molecules of elements. One is monoatomic, one is diatomic, and one is triatomic. But if you study elaborately, also two types, two categories are also there. One is tetraatomic and one is polyatomic. So number 4 will be tetraatomic. Tetraatomic means all total 4 atoms are present. So first example will be a P4, that is phosphorus, total 4 atoms are present. Second example will be H2O2, that is hydrogen peroxide, 2 hydrogens, 2 oxygen, total 4 atoms. And the last category is the polyatomic. Polyatomic means more than 4 atoms. More than 4 atoms are present. So for one example will be there CH4, methane. It is methane. Clear? 1 carbon and 4 hydrogens, so all total 5. Another example of polyatomic will be S8, that is sulfur. All total 8 atoms are present. So it is a sulfur. All total 8 atoms are present. So these are the categories of molecules of elements. 1 monoatomic, number 2 diatomic, number 3 triatomic, number 4 tetraatomic, and number 5 polyatomic. Clear? Next, Next, one important concept, that is atomicity. What is atomicity? This question is important because sometimes question is asked that write down what is atomicity, or question may arise that define atomicity with an example. So what is atomicity? It is defined as the number of atoms present in a molecule. Very simple. Atomicity is the number of atoms. Atomicity is the number of atoms present in a molecule. That is your atomicity. Clear? So it is actually the number of atoms present in the molecule. It is the number of atoms present in the molecule. So atomicity is the number of atoms present in the molecule. For example, suppose question is asked, example, there's define the atomicity of oxygen. Define the atomicity of oxygen, or write down the atomicity of oxygen. Your answer will be 2. That 2. The atomicity of oxygen will be 2. Why? Because see, in oxygen, that is here, in oxygen 2 atoms are present. In oxygen 2 atoms are present. So atomicity is 2. Because the definition of atomicity says it is the number of atoms present in the molecule. So atomicity will be the number of atoms present in the molecule. So what will you do? Just count the number of atoms. Just count the number of atoms, and that will be your atomicity. So in oxygen, 2 oxygen atoms are present. So atomicity of oxygen will be 2. In the same way, suppose we have to calculate the atomicity of ozone, and answer will be 3, because ozone contains 3 oxygen atoms. So atomicity of ozone will be 3. Suppose sulfur, atomicity of sulfur will be 8, because 8 sulfur atoms are present in S8 molecule. So atomicity of sulfur will be 8, like this. Clear? Next, second category will be molecules of compounds. So let me erase it first before I am going to discuss molecules of compounds. So the second category is molecules of compounds. Second category is your molecules of compounds. Now atoms of different elements are present here, because molecules of elements there, the molecules of element, in molecules of element only same type of atoms were present. In molecules of elements only same type of atoms were present. But in case of molecule of compounds, different elements or different atoms join together to form molecule. In case of molecule of compounds, different elements or different atoms join together in definite proportion or fixed proportion to form molecules of compounds. That means in molecules of compounds, different elements, in molecules of compounds, different elements join together in definite proportion to form molecule of compounds. To form molecule of compounds. Clear? In molecules of compounds, different elements join together in definite proportion to form molecule of compounds. Clear? Suppose I am giving you some molecules of compounds and their combining elements, so that you can understand better. So make a chart. Like suppose here I am giving some compounds. So here it is compound. Clear? So here it is compound. Next, combining elements. What elements are combined together? Combining elements and their ratio by mass. Now what is this ratio by mass? Because the molecules of compound says they are the different elements joined together in a definite proportion. That means in molecules of compounds, all the elements will join together in a definite proportion, in a definite ratio. Clear? So the ratio will be termed as ratio by mass, because the atoms or elements will join together with respect to their mass. That means that will be the ratio by mass. Clear? Suppose let me give you one example, and that will be very clear to you. So suppose compound is water, that is H2O. So what are the combining elements? Hydrogen and oxygen are the combining elements. So combining elements will be hydrogen and oxygen. Clear? Now what is the ratio? Here ratio is 1:8. Here ratio of mass will be 1:8. That means hydrogen and oxygen will combine together in 1:8. That means if one hydrogen is taken part in forming H2O molecule, there will be 8 oxygen by mass. Clear? Next compound, suppose ammonia. Now note, this is this 1:8. This value is calculated value. This value is a calculated value. Just remember that when hydrogen and oxygen combine together to form H2O, one atom of hydrogen by mass joined together 8 atoms of oxygen, or you can say 1 gram of hydrogen joined with 8 gram of oxygen. That means the ratio will be 1:8. These values are the calculated value. You need to remember these values, or you need to remember this ratio. Clear? Suppose another one example, suppose ammonia. So there are 2 combining elements, one is nitrogen, one is hydrogen. So one is nitrogen and one is hydrogen. Here the ratio of mass will be 14:3. Here the ratio of mass will be 14:3. Why 14? Because in nitrogen, suppose its atomic mass is 40. In nitrogen, its atomic mass is 40, and in hydrogen, the atomic mass is 1. Clear? So atomic mass of one hydrogen is 1. Here 3 atoms are present, 3 hydrogens are present. So atomic mass will be 3. So the ratio will be 14:3. Like this ratio of mass is calculated. Now in case of H2O, atomic mass of oxygen. Another example. So another example are there. Suppose carbon dioxide. Suppose carbon dioxide. So combining elements are carbon and oxygen, carbon and oxygen. Clear? So the ratio of mass of carbon and oxygen here will be 3:8. 3:8. Now how 3:8 came? Now carbon, atomic mass of carbon is 12. Atomic mass of carbon is 12. So write 12 here. And oxygen, atomic mass of oxygen is 16. Atomic mass of oxygen is 16, but there are 2 oxygen. So total mass will be 16 into 2. That means 32. Clear? So 32. So these are the ratio. Now reduce. So 4 3s are 12, 4 8s are 32. See, ratio 3:8. Here ratio is 3:8. So in this way, we can calculate all the compounds, their combining elements, and what are the ratio they are combined together. Clear? This is the method. Next, so in your book, many compounds are given, their combining elements, the ratio. So we can calculate yourself and see the ratio of mass. Clear? So molecules of compound, this is complete. Molecules of compound, atomicity, molecules of elements. Clear? Atomic mass and relative mass, all total 5 important concepts we have already discussed. Clear? Next is the prediction of number of atomic mass from mass ratio. How can you predict the number of atoms from mass ratio? So make a heading, prediction of number of atoms from mass ratio. So how can you predict number of atoms from a mass ratio? Clear? See, in order to predict the number of atoms, from the mass ratio, you need to divide the given mass of each element by the atomic mass of the element. Listen carefully. In order to predict the number of atoms from the given mass ratio, you have to divide the given mass of each element by the atomic mass of that element and calculate the in simplest ratio. Clear? So first one, suppose element given as nitrogen. Clear? So its mass ratio, suppose its mass ratio represented by X it is given as 14. It is given as 40. Atomic mass represented by Y, its atomic mass also 14. So what is the ratio? The ratio will be 14 by 14 and ratio will be 1. So that ratio will be termed as mole ratio. That ratio will be termed as mole ratio. What is mole ratio? X by Y, that is mass ratio divided by atomic ratio, that is mole ratio. That means X by Y. X is your mass ratio, Y is your atomic mass. X is your mass ratio and Y is the atomic mass. So X by Y will be the mole ratio. So mole ratio will be 14 by 14, that will be 1. 14 by 14, that will be 1. Clear? So simplest ratio will be 1. Simplest ratio will be 1 because mole ratio is 1. So simplest ratio will be 1. So in this way we will calculate the mass ratio, atomic mass, mole ratio and simplest ratio. So in nitrogen element we can predict that means nitrogen means only one atom is present. In nitrogen there is only one atom is present because simplest ratio comes 1. That means in nitrogen atom only one atom is present, or we can say only one nitrogen is present because the simplest ratio comes as 1. Clear? Another example, suppose another element given as hydrogen. Clear? So mass ratio, suppose X hydrogen is 3 and atomic mass given as 1. Mass ratio is 3, so mass ratio is given. Mass ratio is given and you have to predict the number of atoms in hydrogen, just as in the case of nitrogen where atomic mass ratio was given 40. So you have to divide the mass ratio with the atomic mass and then calculate the ratio in the simplest value. So mass ratio given is 3 for hydrogen. Now atomic mass, we know that atomic mass of hydrogen is 1. So what we will need to do? We have just divide the mass ratio with the atomic mass. We will just divide the mass ratio with the atomic mass and that will be termed as mole ratio. So 3 by 1 divide 3 by 1, that is 3. So simplest ratio will be 3 because mole ratio is 3, so simplest ratio will be 3. That means in hydrogen element, the simplest ratio is 3. So what is the formula of, now we have to calculate the formula of NH3, that means ammonia. We have to calculate the formula of ammonia, which is NH3. So how can we know that formula of ammonia is NH3? How can we know the formula of ammonia is NH3? By applying this mass ratio, because we have seen that in nitrogen only one atom is present. In hydrogen there are 3 atoms there are 3 simplest ratio. In hydrogen there is simplest ratio 3, and in case of nitrogen only simplest ratio is 1, that is 1 nitrogen atom is present. So nitrogen is 1, hydrogen is 3, so the formula is NH3 in case of ammonia, because in case of ammonia the combining atoms are only nitrogen and hydrogen. In case of ammonia the combining atoms are only nitrogen and hydrogen. So by calculating the simplest ratio of nitrogen, the simplest ratio of hydrogen, we can easily assume that formula of ammonia will be NH3 because simplest ratio of nitrogen is 1 and simplest ratio of hydrogen is 3. That means the formula will be NH3. That is the formula of ammonia. So by giving the mass ratio, we can easily calculate the number of atoms as well as the formula of compound. We need to just divide the mass ratio with the atomic mass, because atomic mass we know already that atomic mass of nitrogen is 14 and atomic mass of hydrogen is 1. So divide it to determine the mole ratio and simplest ratio and then calculate the formula. Clear? Next one. Next concept is, so molecules are complete. Next concept is ions. What are ions? Very important. What are ions? Now see, ions are actually the charged species. Ions are actually the charged species. Charge means positive charge or negative charge. Now when atoms or group of atoms, or you can say molecules, lose electrons or they gain electrons, then they become charged. Whenever any atom or molecule loses electron or gains electrons, they become charged. Then they are known as ions. Then the charged species will be known as ions. Clear? Now atoms actually they cannot exist in the independently. Clear? Atoms they cannot exist independently, but whereas molecules they can exist independently. So most atoms generally exist in the form of ions. Most atoms generally exist in the form of atoms, in the form of ions. Most atoms generally exist in the form of ions because they cannot exist independently. That's why. Clear? Now these ions can be positively charged as well as they can be negatively charged depending on the losses of electron or gaining of electron. If atom or molecule losses electron, they will be termed as positively charged, and if they gains electron, they will be termed as negatively charged. Clear? So first write the definition of ions. Definition of ion is when atoms, groups of atoms, or you can say groups of atoms, when atoms, groups of atoms or molecules loss or gain electrons, they become charged, or you can say they become charged. They become charged. These charged species, are known as ions. These are the definition of ions. Clear? So ions are generally classified as positive ions or negative ions. Positive ions and negative ions. Now positive ions are also known as cations, and negative ions are also known as anions. Clear? So positive ion means positively charged ions. Positive ions or cations means positively charged ions. So examples are like suppose sodium plus, clear, aluminium 3 plus, calcium 2 plus, that is calcium ion, or you can say potassium plus. Clear? All these are examples of cations or positively charged ions. When positive ions are formed, these are formed when elements losses electrons. These are formed when elements losses electrons. So right here, these are formed when elements losses electrons. Coming to negative ions are the negatively charged ions. Negative ions are the negatively charged ions, or they are all simply known as anions. Examples: these are the examples of positive ions or cations, and examples of negative ions. Suppose Cl minus ion, that is chloride ion, or you can say bromide ion, Br minus ion, or you can say oxide ions, there is O2 minus ion, or you can say nitrogen, there is N2 minus, there is N3 minus nitride ion, N3 minus nitride ion, etc. Now anions are formed. When anions are formed, these are formed when elements gain electrons. These are formed when elements gain electrons. So right here, these are formed when elements gain electrons. So these are the positive ions and negative ions. One more important concept, always remember, metals always form cations. Metals always form cations, and non-metal always forms anions. Remember very carefully. Metals, all these are metals. All these are metals, and all these are non-metals. So remember this concept that metals generally forms positive ions or cations. That means they have a tendency to lose electrons. On the other hand, non-metals, they forms anions or negative ions. That means non-metals have tendency to gain electrons. Clear? So these are the your positive ions and negative ions. Next one, polyatomic ion. Another important ion beside positive ions and negative ions, that is polyatomic ion. Polyatomic ions. Polyatomic ions. Clear? So what are polyatomic ions? A group of atoms carrying charge and act as a single entity. Listen carefully. A group of atoms carrying a charge and they act as a single entity. That is known as polyatomic ion. So write definition first. A group of atoms carrying charge, and act as a single entity. Act as a single entity is known as polyatomic ion. Ions. Clear? So always remember, it has a fixed charge. Polyatomic ions have a fixed charge. Their charge does not vary. Polyatomic ions have fixed charge. And what are polyatomic ions? A group of atoms carrying charge and act as a single entity. That is known as polyatomic ions. For example, suppose NO3 minus ion. NO3 minus ion means nitrate ion. This is known as nitrate ion. NO3 minus ion. Nitrate ion. Now there are the definition says a group of atoms. Now say here 4 atoms are present. 1 is nitrogen and 3 ones are oxygen. So all total 4 atoms are present. So group of atoms. Clear? And they carrying a charge and act as a single entity. So single entity means total NO3 only have a single charge, that is minus. Only one minus charge is present and total atom is 4. So group of atoms and they carry one single charge, that is minus ion, one minus ion. So this is an example of polyatomic ion, where more than one atoms are present or group of atoms are present and they act as a single entity, that is polyatomic ion. Another example, suppose CO3 2 minus. CO3, this is 3 actually. CO3 2 minus, this is carbonate ion. Here also total number of atoms is 4, 1 carbon, 3 oxygen, and charge is 2 minus. So see, this CO3 act as a single entity and they carry charge minus 2. So that is the example of polyatomic ion. Clear? Next, another one, suppose sulfate ion, SO4 3 minus. This is known as sulfate ion. So all these are example of polyatomic ion. Nitrate ion, carbonate ion, SO4 3 minus, that is sulfate ion. These are example of polyatomic ion. Clear? So that's all for today. We have discussed ions, their varieties, that is polyatomic ion, cations, anions. Clear? Also atoms, monoatomic, diatomic, triatomic, the concept of molecules, concept of relative atomic mass. Clear? So total maximum portion of this chapter completed. Only 2 remaining topics are left, that is, one is valency, how to calculate chemical formula using valency, and how to calculate the molecular mass. Total 2 to 3 topics left over, and this topic will be discussed in the next session. Clear? So thank you.